381-1313.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrill Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrill family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
I'm Kathy Binkaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together, and the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Great selection of snacks is holding steady while the drive-thru service is rounding out the pack. They're rounding the turn, and it's Clark's Pump and Shop for the win!
Get in the winner's circle with Clark's Pump and Shop. Stop by and pick up 5-hour energy shots, 2 for $4.99, or Rolade sticks. Buy one, get one free. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. Mark Pope with his press conference with some pretty good stuff. I don't think there was anything really shocking at all. But the big news, there's no question about it, was Jalen Lowe. No question. As a matter of fact, everything else is stuff that really won't surprise you at all. But when he talked about, hey, he's keeping him out for a week, right? And he's not in pain, and he's already shooting. Now, he didn't say this, but you wonder if this was a real game, would he play? So he's keeping him out for a week. So the good news is it's not nearly as bad as first feared. That was also the information that came out within about 36 hours, and that's even better. If the kid is not in pain, that's a huge wow, because Butler was in a lot of pain. So just because it's his shoulder, everybody's shoulder is different. The injuries are different. And that, to me, is the most important thing. There's no question about it. That's by far the most important thing. Hey, don't forget about friends at Quantrill Cadillac. They have a deal for Subaru. 36 months. 0 interest. And if you want to spread it out, it's 1.9 for 72 months. It is a great deal. And I'll tell you what also is a great deal, the XC60. We have leased a Volvo. My wife is in love with it. She loves the car. It is so smooth. It's unbelievable. We've had it for about a month, and she's starting to use a little gas. For over 3 weeks, didn't use any gas. And you just plug it in overnight. It's much cheaper than gas. If you're using the hybrid, most of the time you get 41 miles on this car before it just smoothly goes into gas, and it's great. The XC60, it's great. The Subaru, that's an unbelievable deal on the Outback and the Quantrill Auto Group. They've got all kinds of deals. They're wonderful people to deal with. We've now had 3 cars from them. Speaking of somebody who's special, let's now go to Mr. Kenny Rice. Long time no talk to. Kenny, you've been on the road and doing all kinds of good stuff. Kenny, how are you?
Hey, Alan, I'm good, my friend. How are you? And happy birthday.
Thank you. It's tomorrow, but an early shout, which I appreciate tremendously.
And it should go on all month. I mean, there's not much left in the month, so milk it. Judy, have him a birthday. What we got? 7-8 more days? Birthday week and a half for Alan.
Hey, Cut, you're in the other room. Kenny Rice says that I should celebrate my birthday. You should help me celebrate it for 7-8 days. What do you think, dear? I think she heard me and is ignoring. She's in the kitchen.
See, I've probably upset Judy now. She won't speak.
Oh, no.
Right.
Oh, no. Well, if you upset her too much, you won't get any more chocolate chip cookies.
I know. Oh, wait. I just got a call. Hey, Andy. I'm
Kenny
good, pal.
Rice
I'm in the middle of a radio show. You coming over?
making phone calls from people who might be coming over to his house.
Yeah. Anytime in about an hour, okay?
Wonders never cease to amaze the
Thanks,
things
pal.
that we do live.
Thank you for that. And my apologies, Alan. I'm working now. I'm having house stuff done. And as you know, when you can get house stuff done, you just get it done.
Right.
I'd like to be, contractors have the best job because they can do things that I can't. And then you do it when they can do it, or tough luck.
You thought about using another word.
No, that applies to UK football. The last
better part of 60 years.
Yeah, at least.
Okay, before we get into football, Kenny Rice, former sports director 1,000 years ago at Channel 36, and now a big maven for over a quarter of a century at NBC, and doing all kinds of other network kind of broadcasts across the country. I have to come clean about what I did, and I'll be so hurt if you laughed at me. So there's a guy named Michael Lawson. I don't know him, and he asked me to do his podcast, and I said yes. And he initially said a couple weeks ago, it's 9:00 at night, and I said, that's late for me. Although I'm often up early, that's late for me. Can we tape it? And we just couldn't. So I put it in my schedule. I got alerts, the whole thing. Ate a big meal last night. Not drinking meal, a big meal last night. And unfortunately, my wife has all these pictures of me falling asleep at my desk. She has so many, she stopped taking them, right? I have never, if I've ever stiffed anyone on a show, I don't remember. And I really don't think I ever have. I wake up way after the podcast and I see this thing on, oh, blank, blank, blank. So I apologized. And I said, look, this is what happened. I think he believed me. I had a family dinner, ate too much, fell asleep. And I said, I'll rip myself on the show tomorrow, which I deserve to do. Have you ever done that? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'll watch a game starting at 8:00 at night. And if it's not Kentucky, I'll fall asleep and wake up at 10 o'clock.
Well, usually I'll fall asleep if it is Kentucky. But
yeah.
Yeah. But no, I've not, Alan. Thank goodness I have not. But I do write stuff down like that and make a note, especially like next week's Breeders' Cup week. So I go to San Diego next week, Breeders' Cup. And, as you know how it is, they do the PR stuff and we have to do so many radio shows and, try to hype it up, especially going against college football. It's almost impossible, try to get a big audience. You'll never get Derby size audience anyway. But I have to write it down to make sure that I don't stick, because I have almost a couple of times missed. And you feel bad, when you miss something like that. But I've made it under the wire a couple of times.
You believe it? I can believe it. By the way, we'll get into UK in a second. You have a favorite for the Classic, or are you still working on it?
I think Sovereignty's the best horse out there. He's the best horse out there. It's really an amazing year. He's trying to become only the 5th Kentucky Derby winner in the same year, in case somebody calls you, because Ali Sheba and Ferdinand both did it the year they were 4 years old. But for a 3-year-old won the Derby that year, it's pretty rare, and I think that he's the one to beat. And probably journalism's going to be right there. It's going to be like almost a repeat of some things. And then you got Sierra Leone back from last year. This is probably one of the strongest fields ever. Fierceness, it's a really good field. And that's going to be the standout race. That's going to be the thing. Torpedo Anna now retired. The distaff lost so much luster. Most of the races lost luster, But that'll be the star of the show. That's why it's going to be on NBC 3:30 to 7 next week.
I'll watch all the races, but depending upon what I'm doing around Kentucky, I'll watch it on tape. I'll see not all of you, but I'll see some of what you do. I'm just being honest and look forward to it. You do a great job, but I have a question that, who knows? Sovereignty wins the Classic. What's the horse worth?
Oh, well,
Higher.
Oh, yeah, higher, 60 maybe, something in that ballpark, 65. Keeneland just had a huge sale. There's still enough rich people out there that will buy horses. And that's really all it comes down to. The market, there's still a demand. And it's a crazy business because it's so unproven. You buy these yearlings, and, like the $16 million horse never raced. I think the other one was like 13 or something, never won. So you get that. So obviously, only one horse that ever sold for seven figures at auction, only one that sold for seven figures has won the Kentucky Derby. That was Fusaichi Pegasus. So, there's no guarantee spending the money. Unlike the NIL, as we've learned, Alan. The money, obviously, for the Dodgers in baseball and for some of these Ohio State and some of these teams in football, the NIL obviously is paying off.
But there's a lot of schools and a lot of teams that spend the money and they fail. So money doesn't guarantee the number. And I want to get into UK in a second, but the number that gets me more than any other in baseball is that the Dodgers are paying $156 million in tax.
Yeah.
And that's a gazillion dollars more than the Reds' total payroll.
Yeah.
And they have the top 1-2 starters in the game, and they probably now have the best closer in the game, and there is no competition. They should really win this thing hands down, and they need to do something about it. There was a story about a week ago which said that, and I have trouble believing this, but business at a certain level is past me, that Shohei's $700 million contract has already been paid off. I don't know if I buy that, but when the contract came out, I said they got him for nothing. The next day, said they got it for nothing. It was easy for me to figure that out. And what I don't understand is why other teams can't figure that out. I figured it out. Who the heck am I?
No, I know.
So I don't get why a team like Detroit hasn't figured that out. Like the Yankees have a difficulty because guys like Shohei want to be closer to Japan. It's a much shorter flight on the left coast.
Right.
And Seattle and LA, as you know, have done a really good job welcoming, the Yankees did too, have welcoming Japanese players, and they feel comfortable with the environment and those kinds of things. And so the Dodgers are smart. But the competitive, edge in baseball, it's not there.
No, it's not. And honestly, are you interested in this World Series? I mean, I'm not sure if I watch more than 10 innings.
Well, I tell you why I'm going to a little bit. First of all, I'd watch a lot more for the Yankees. So
Me too.
I watched the last game between, the Toronto and Seattle for a particular reason that I guessed was right. The intensity on every pitch was beautiful. And so when you cut through all the garbage and the minutia, people trying as hard as they can at a level that was beautiful, was great to see. And when I see that, I enjoy competition. And what I also liked is Toronto and Seattle, I think they both were nervous when they first started the playoffs, and they got so used to this high competition, they were playing at a high level. And I loved it. And so I'm probably going to turn on the World Series to see if that's the way it is. And I think it will be. I love competition at its best. And if it isn't, by the way, every pitch you can hear right here on 1300 AM and 92.5 FM. If the competition is as good as I think, then I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll catch it, but I'm just not like I was, used to. If the Yankees had been in it, if Seattle had been in it, I didn't follow baseball like I used to. I'm familiar with the Dodgers because they're back in it. So they're a good story. So the closest I'll come to baseball is seeing probably Alec Bregman and Jason Worth next week at the Breeders' Cup. That'll probably be as close to baseball as I get this time around.
Well, that's pretty cool. Hey, Jimmy, would you be kind enough to queue up the 15% comment from Justin Rowland? And then we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. So, Kenny, you're going to take a salary cut because Mitch Barnhart makes seven figures, and I know you would take his job and take the salary cut from your big-time TV, and you're now the athletics director as he's going, you're not doing this to me, Cutler. Would you change coaches next year?
I told you the last time we were on about 3 weeks ago, Mark should stay with it. And I'm always hesitant for only this regard. People get very cavalier about, let's get rid of this guy. Let's get rid of this guy. I can tell you some doctors and lawyers I think should lose their jobs, but they don't care, okay? But we're very easy to go, a few other people have done construction work, maybe they should lose their job. I didn't like what they did. But we're really, really easy about saying, fire that coach. And they don't think about the domino effect of everybody involved. Now, I understand that. I think Kentucky made a bad deal with Mark in paying him off within a month. That was just not a good deal. I don't think Mark Stoops owes Kentucky anything except to put a football team on the field that's competitive, which he is not doing this year. Didn't do it last year after having a great run of about 7-8 seasons in a row. So I kind of lean toward that. But I believe if you listen to Mark's press conference after the Texas game, he seemed almost resigned. You know, he thanked the fans, for coming out and supporting. I think he's almost resigned that, this ain't working. And so with that, I think maybe the easiest thing to do is pay the man the money. Don't say, let's renegotiate. You made the deal. Look, I've made some bad deals where I've had to pay, and I go, boy, I wish I'd made a better deal. Or deals where I said I should have gotten more money and I didn't. But I did it, and you got to honor the contract. So pay the guy the $40 million, $40 million. They've got the money, and just pay him. And don't say, well, let's negotiate, or maybe you'll get a job somewhere else. Just pay him. You made a bad deal. Thank him for doing a job that really nobody else, save Bear Bryant, has done in this program. I mean, let's face it. When Mitch signed him, you can't really blame Mitch at that time. Mark was coming off a 10-win season. They'd had 2 10-win seasons. Who at that time would say, boy, Stoops, he can't turn this program around? He had turned it around. I don't know what happened, but something obviously has. We can speculate on things. One thing is the offensive coordinating thing is just a mess. The plays they were running, not just at the end of the game, but as you pointed out once on one of your Twitter feeds I saw earlier, settling for the field goal and stuff. I just don't understand what they do offensively. I don't think they do right now, and it's kind of fallen. The wheels have come off. So pay it. Say, good luck to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the good times you've given this program. Because as we know, remember Joker, remember Bill Curry. People have put up with a lot of crappy football at Kentucky and didn't seem to get as passionate as they are right now with Mark Stoops. And Stoops is kind of at fault because he gave them success. He gave them a modicum of success. It was a pretty good window. 7, 8 straight bowl games? I don't know.
8 straight bowls. No, he did a heck of a job. I will say this. I honestly believe had Joker been the coach now and this was the end of Joker, it'd have been much worse for Joker because of social media. So social media, as you know, has intensified everything. Let me throw this at you. This has been my pet peeve all week. I can't get off it. Chris Chenault will join us about 1:15, and I bet he goes crazy on me. You don't have to coach the game to know certain things.
Right.
And second guessing, I'm sorry, it's all part of it. But this was not second guessing. This was at the moment. Kenny, you have 14 seconds left on the clock. You have a young quarterback who's blossoming right in front of you. He did have a pick. I love what Cutler said. Seriously, I love it because he said, my fault. I was trying to throw it out of bounds and I slipped. Okay, but he said it was his fault. Without that mistake, he's 31 of 39.
Yeah.
Over 70%. You don't trust this kid to throw a deep ball. You don't trust this kid to say, okay, if they blitz and get through, just throw it away right away. You don't trust him. And what you're telling your team that I'm not giving you the best chance to win. I got one more, then I want you to respond. There's no way on this earth that Kiffin at Ole Miss wouldn't have gone for it. And my point is, that's coaching. That's a bad coaching mistake. Yeah. That's an egregious mistake. When Mark comes into the media room, the paraphrase was, well, if we didn't get to kick the field goal because something happened, I couldn't come in here and face you all. That's your thought process? The hell with the media. The hell with the media. You have 14 seconds to go. Could it have gone wrong? Of course. Odds are it would have been an incompleted pass. Okay. The second odds were it would have been a spectacular play. The third odds was that he might have slipped, he might have fallen. The clock. Okay. But you can't live your life being a chicken. And that's what he was. And if you have a coach that is not giving his kids the best chance to win, I don't want him here. What do you think of the 14 seconds? Mr. Kenny Rice, NBC's Kenny Rice, award-winning Kenny Rice.
It's all about me.
I thought that was my line.
Alan, you nailed this one. The thing about, and this goes back to last year, the Georgia game. Remember the Georgia game when they could have gone for it on 4th down? They're in the middle of the field. You got to take chances. When you play big-time teams and you're a program like Kentucky that you're hoping to just become in the middle of the pack, maybe the 6th, 7th best team in the SEC, which is an accomplishment. Okay? In a league like that, to be right in the middle of the pack's not bad. And Kentucky was in that position up until the last 2 years. You got to take chances. You got to take chances. If it blows up, you took the chance. You got to play to win. You can't play conservative. You can't run out the clock. The Kentucky's not that kind of program. They don't have that. And you look at every good program, and that's what they do. They take chances. You don't like you said, Kiffin. I mean, I'm still blown away. Look at last year against Mississippi when they go for it on 4th and long. That was crazy. And what they do, they won the game. You got to take chances, and they have not.
Kenny, they practice that. I wonder how often Kentucky. I don't know this, so I can't accuse them. I wonder how often Kentucky practices situation football, and if they don't, I don't care who the hell the coach is. I wouldn't want them around. And if you practice it, you don't trust your kids.
No, and okay, on this down, and then I'm having Jerry Claiborne flashbacks, old Iffin game with Mark Higgs, and I know you were. We were both there in the Tennessee. Bam, bam. You don't have smash mouth line. You can't knock people down. You're not Ohio State. You're not going to do it. You're not even Indiana. And I tell you, I'll say this quickly. Indiana and Vanderbilt has hurt Kentucky and programs like them more than any two schools, because you can't say, it can't be done here. Because who thought Indiana and Vandy would ever be in the top 10 ever, much less at the same time? But now
what is it?
Nobody.
Together. How about independently? How about one of them?
Yeah. And so why didn't they go I tell you, Boley was really impressive, which now makes me wonder, why didn't they come to this kid at the start of the year? Does anybody not notice this stuff? They're around him all the time. I'm just seeing glimpses when he comes out, a little highlight in practice and watching a game. But that moving ahead, why don't you run a run pass option at least one time with that kid? Try one time when you're down there on 1st down and goal in overtime with a chance to pull an upset that really would have made his season. If they beat Texas, I don't know if we'd be talking about what's Mark's future. I think we'd be saying, hey, things are looking a little brighter, and Cutler Boley is the future. See, but now, and then why they didn't kick for it on 4th down, at least get 3 points? Because as it turned out, Texas would have had to kick that field goal to stay alive, not to win the game. They didn't get the points. I just don't understand any of the handling of that. It's easy to second guess, I know. My favorite, and I like Christian a lot, big fan of his. I'll be curious what he says, but I always like some of these other guys. I hear these old players talk about, we've done this and that. There's really not an era of Kentucky football where they can beat their chest too much about all the great things Kentucky football did. There's not. There's some guys that played recently. Lynn Bowden can beat his chest. He did some things. Chris had a great career at Kentucky, by the way. I'm not trying to single him out, and I'll be curious what he has to say. But, I've heard a few other guys, you have too, flipping around sometimes, and they'll say, well, I'm really disappointed in our program. Wait a minute, you were on that team that went 4-7. How disappointed are you? You're just reliving what Kentucky's kind of always been, an average to lousy program, with a few exceptions. And the exceptions have been Mark Stoops. Had a little bit of a moment. If you remember, Rich Brooks, good guy, good coach. But remember, after they beat LSU, remember Kentucky's a top 10 team. They beat LSU, and they're on their way. But what happens? They lose at South Carolina, I believe. Right there, turns everything around. Kentucky's down there playing Ole Miss with Will Levis. Kentucky wins that game that year, turns everything around. They're top 10. They never have been able to get over that hump. They never have had that moment where they could follow up a big win with a big win with a big win. It's almost impossible to try to find out when did Kentucky put together 2 or 3, much less, one big win in the last few years.
Kenny Rice, kind enough to join us. Our friend Jeff Drummond just sent me this, and this is perfect. Now, Jeff is a huge Steeler fan. Steeler fan, as I think everybody knows Jeff knows. Mike Tomlin has a saying, quote, "We don't live in our fears," end of quote. That's what UK did last week. Jeff, that's saying it much better than I did. That was, I'm sorry. I thought what Stoops did with 14 seconds left was a chicken move. I just do. What do they practice? Seriously. I wonder if Kiffin spends more time practicing situation football than, I don't know about every coach. I mean, who knows, but than 98% of the coaches.
I'd say all the big time programs. I'm sure Ohio State has some plans. I know.
Sure. But what percentage of your practice? And I remember there was a year, and I don't remember the year, Kenny, when Stoops says, this year we're practicing more situational football.
Right.
And I went, okay, that's good. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the year. We're going, why the hell weren't you doing that all the time? I mean, how many times, Mark Pope, they have this drill when they allow us in that pro day practice. They give the kids the ball with 5 seconds to go. And it might be guard against guard. It might be guard against center because you might get stuck on a switch and a whole bunch of kids are around them and you get the ball. You got 5 seconds. You got to do something. And the kids missed most of the shots, which is okay, but you're used to that tension. And then there was cheering and then that kind of stuff if you made it or whatever. And I'm looking at this drill. I'm going, I don't know how many coaches do this. I assume a lot, but it's a great thing to do. My point of asking you what you think now, because we did talk 3 weeks ago, I was curious if you changed your mind. Let me throw one other thing at you. To me, this is just BS. And I've already talked about this, but not with you. If you keep Stoops, and then it's deemed, you've seen this for years, you got to get rid of all these assistant coaches. That's the dumbest thing you can do, because if Mark Stoops is hanging on a thread, what great assistant coach is going to come to Kentucky unless you guarantee him a 3-year contract? And then you might be buying out the last 2 years when you have a coaching change. Or if you have a coaching change, you might be telling the coach, you got to keep these assistants. And that guy says, I don't want to come work for you. I mean, you're stuck now. You are stuck. It's not that simple. Yeah, we'll just change the staff. Really? How the hell are you going to do it? You're going to get a great offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and I'm not suggesting firing Brad White. That's not the point. But the point is, for 1 year, it doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way anymore.
No, and and the thing is, the only thing I see, and I'm not saying fire Ham. I don't want anybody fired. I don't want Mark fired, but the way things are going, what else can you do? He's going to constantly be apologizing. He's going to be agony. Barnhart's going to have to keep dodging questions, figure next year. Okay, let's say they beat, they win against Tennessee this weekend. They beat Auburn. Maybe they beat Florida. Maybe they win 2 games, 3 games more. I don't know. Let's say that. Then we have a different conversation. As it stands right now, they need to make a change. But saying that also, before everybody gets excited and said Summerall's going to come back and save the program. If I'm him, as hot as he is, and I'm looking, let's see, where can I win a national title or at least be a contender? Florida, Penn State, UCLA, Kentucky, you take your pick there. So when you look at the jobs open up, even like Arkansas, you could argue Arkansas might be a better program than Kentucky. It's not like everybody's going to be beaten down the door. They think it took a while to get Mark Pope in here for basketball. See what they're going to get for football. If Mark leaves or Mark is asked to leave, see what they're going to get for football. It ain't going to be an easy job. You know that. I know that. I mean, who are they going to get? And the history of Kentucky is they'll get an assistant coach somewhere, because that's pretty much their history. They'll try to get somebody out of retirement like they did Rich Brooks. And, with the exception of Curry, which in hindsight, everybody should have seen a red flag. You don't leave Alabama for Kentucky. Something was wrong in football. That'd be like if Mark Pope decided tomorrow that he's going to, take the job at Mississippi State. It just doesn't make sense. So, that's what you're going to get. So I don't think any hot young coach is going to come here to Kentucky. I just don't. With the jobs that are open now, and who knows what else is going to be opened up.
Well, you'd have to guess right with that hot young coach, which is the problem, because it wouldn't be in a top tier. Let me throw a couple things back to you. I will always believe that the failure of Bill Curry had to do with not being able to bring both of his coordinators with him. I think that was pivotal in his failure, because his coordinators at Alabama were really good. For some reason, Homer Rice didn't want to come, and then Lindsey at the last minute was offered, if I recall, like a 5-year contract with Curry, and he decided not to come. And Curry, as you remember, was more of a CEO. And the coordinators that he hired weren't nearly as good. And I don't know this. I can't swear to this. My feeling was, had he had the right coordinators, he might have succeeded. They wanted them out of Alabama. You remember that. And so he had to come here. And I got to tell you, I was wrong. I thought it was a really good hire. Sometimes I was just flat out wrong. But I got this red flag that why won't these 2 guys come with him? And it wasn't like UK was being cheap with the money. That had nothing to do with it.
It's because it's Kentucky. And they know it's a hard place to build something. It really is. And the only thing I had a problem with Bill is the way he handled Tim Couch. My goodness. I mean, that you didn't have to even be smart. You could just be an average high school football coach out there and you say, man, I got a guy like Tim Couch. I'm going to make him an option quarterback. And then the first time he started, remember, was at Florida.
At Florida when they were Florida. They're not Florida now when they were Florida. Worst decision
And you know,
in
I think
my lifetime
purpose.
covering Kentucky sports.
I believe he did it on purpose. I think he wanted to say, see, where, as to quote Edward G. Robinson in the Ten Commandments, yeah, where's your Moses now? I think he put Tim in that position because it's a tough call. It'd been a tough call for a veteran quarterback with Kentucky's line and everything back in that day.
It always goes back to Curry, but I honestly believe that Elliot Uzelak convinced Curry to do it, and it's Curry's fault because he's the head coach, and Elliot Uzelak was very bitter about being at Kentucky because he was very bitter that he didn't become the Colorado coach, and late in life, he got his act back together and became a high school coach in Michigan and ended up having a reputation of helping a lot of kids.
Good.
When he was here, he was not good at all. It was kind of like, I'm at Kentucky. What am I doing at Kentucky? I should have become the Colorado coach, and it burned him forever. And Curry didn't see that when he hired him, and that was a bad move by Curry.
You know, it's like Elizabeth Taylor marriages. It's never going to work. You know, there'll be a come back around, but it just ain't never going to work. You know, Stoops has come the closest. That's why I'm still on the fence. I think probably for Mark's health, I'd like to see him go. And I mean that because I like the guy. I consider him a friend. We're not tight, but we're friends. We've broken bread. But you know, I mean, but maybe he'll beat Tennessee this week, and then we'll have a whole different conversation. But you know, I just hope that I tell you two things that hurt him is he got $9 million, and people always throw that up now because now you're making money. You're supposed to win. You know that more money, the more success you're supposed to have. And two, as we're seeing right now with this NBA gambling situation, and don't think that's important. The way gambling's going right now, don't be surprised if it doesn't hit colleges pretty soon. And the point of all this is people can bet so easily now. And you got these people that casually follow sports that are betting. Hey, Kentucky's not winning. They're not covering. Tell me that doesn't factor in a little bit with some of these people that are getting on their keyboard saying, we got to fire him. Now, they won't come right out and say it, but that goes through their mind. And, you know, every good coach I know, and you know it too, they all know the point spread going into a game. Steve Spurrier was the master. He knew every point spread. And Rick Pitino was pretty darn close. Rick knew what they were supposed to win by. And Eddie Sutton told me one time that he always tells his team the point spread when it's bad against them. You know, we're a 5-point underdog. Can you believe that, guys? You know, to motivate them. And
which is smart. Well, that's smart by Eddie.
Smart, you know, and I think a lot of good coaches are that way. They remind them, they don't think you guys can win tonight. Or don't get fooled that you're supposed to win by 2 or 3. This is a tough game, you know, because people know what it is. And especially now you can sit in the stands and make bets on your phone, which I think is just nuts. And it's blowing up on some people. And, you know, when you got Rozier mentioned today and Chauncey Billups, you know, there's a couple of heavy hitters in the NBA that have been investigated now. That's kind of some serious, we're talking serious stuff.
The accusations are literally absolutely unbelievable. Look, they just passed a rule that all the division colleges now, kids can bet on, you know, the other sports and stuff like that. I think the only reason why they passed it was because it probably would be illegal if it went to court. And so they saved themselves a gazillion dollars going in court. But look, everybody's predicted this. There's going to be a scandal in college athletics. I'm surprised there hasn't been already. But, you know, if you go to a horse race and bet $2 or $5, you know, I'm a $2 bettor. And a big bet for me, not Derby Day or the day before, is $2 across the board. I have a $20 rule. If I go to Keeneland and I've lost $20, whether it be in the first race, and I don't think that I've ever done, but once after 2 races, I was done. So I hung around, had a beer, and watched 4 or 5 races and didn't take $1 out of my pocket. It's a rule that I have. And the discipline of not breaking it. All you have to do is have discipline when you bet. That's all you have to do. Yeah,
that's it. But, you know, the thing is, that's what he says, it's like people that become alcoholics. Do you have the discipline to not drink? You know, can you only have 1 or 2 drinks and be happy? And it is tough. Hey, listen, I used to gamble. I don't do it anymore. I haven't gambled in a long time. But, you know, I knew all the point spreads. Every weekend, I knew all the point spreads. And, you know, and it was kind of fun. It was an adrenaline rush thing. I never bet more than I could afford to lose. I never got in a hole where I had to, you know, borrow money or I was fearing for my life. We never had that kind of ridiculousness. But I could see now if all these apps had been available 25, 30 years ago when I was still interested in that line of work, you know, I might have gone nuts. I mean, it's right there. I said, hold on a minute now. Wait there. I'm thinking the second quarter. I'm going with the 8.5 over in this second quarter. What do you think? I mean, it's crazy all the stuff they can bet.
It is crazy. All right, Kenny, last thing that's in your cranium that we haven't talked about, whether it's Kentucky or not, that you want to go, boom.
My movie?
Yes. I was wondering if you were going to bring that up. Okay. I should have started with the intro, and that was my fault. I have it on my list and I didn't do it. But folks, let me tell you, Kenny is now, and I'm going to tease you, but I'm really proud of you. I really am, but I'm going to bust your chops whether you like it or not. I'm proud of you. And when you sent me, I'm such a dummy. When you sent me the text, I didn't put two and two together right away.
Of course not. Who would have? I'm serious. I know that.
Kenny's in a movie. He's a movie star. So tell everybody I'm really glad you brought it up because it would hit me not seconds after you left, but about 5 minutes after you left. I didn't ask Kenny about this. Tell us about the movie you're doing. I think this is ridiculously super cool. And I'm happy as you know what for you, but please.
Thank you. I would encourage people to go see it. First off, I'll qualify it. My voice is in the movie for about 45 seconds. There's a fighter named Mark Kerr, who's one of the godfathers of mixed martial arts. And he had trouble with drugs and painkillers and all this. He's really a cautionary tale. Interesting guy. I've interviewed him several times. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is playing him. And you won't recognize The Rock in this movie. I mean, it's a tremendous role for him. Benny Safdie, who is a hot young director, he and his brother Josh did a movie called Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. And so they call me up. They'd heard me call some fights on YouTube. And out of the blue, NBC calls me and says, hey, you know A24 Productions? I go, yeah, they're a big time deal, based out of New York. And I goes, they want to get in touch with you. So I call them. This was last fall. And they said, we would like for you to do this for our movie. We would like for you to call this Fight. And, they had a script for me. And they said, ad lib a little bit, but call it first off as we have it. And I went to a studio and I sat there and I watched the actual movie that you'll see at the start where The Rock is walking out as Mark Kerr. And I introduced, there's Mark Kerr, the All-American wrestler from Ohio State, making his pro debut. And I called the fight as it happened back then. And so coincidentally, they used it. Who knew? But it was a wonderful experience for this reason. As you know, in TV, we're a little jaded, even though those of us have done it a long time. There's always that producer, yeah, you did a good job. Yeah, you did a good job. TV people, okay, it's kind of, I know it's a I love you, babe kind of business. But I enjoyed my movie career briefly, okay? Because Benny Safdie in New York, I'm in Lexington doing it. He is so generous and said, way to go. And, you felt like you were really important in the movie, even though I have a very tiny role. But the best part is the way the credits roll at the end, it says in order of appearance. So it's Dwayne Johnson and Kenny Rice.
No, really?
In order of appearance. It's been fun because some of my NBC buddies, I told them I was in it and they go, oh, yeah. And they've seen it and they go, hey, you were just under The Rock. I said, well, I'll tell you that it's in order of appearance. It's not important. No,
you should have said that. You just said they obviously made a mistake. You know what? You ought to clip that and put that on your Twitter feed. I'll retweet it.
You know what? I did.
I missed it. Do it again.
I did. I put it up there and
Wait a second. I retweeted you doing it.
Yeah.
If you had in there with the credits, I missed that.
Yeah. So I did it. It was fun. And like I say, it's a good movie. I mean, it really is.
Tell you didn't say the name of the movie.
Oh yeah. The movie is The Smashing Machine. And it's still in some theaters. It'll be mostly coming out probably pay-per-view. Look, there's not a lot of, nobody blows up and there's not all this, CG Marvel comic stuff. So they expected to be a blockbuster, although they thought maybe with The Rock it would get a bigger audience. And it's doing okay. But yeah, it was a great experience. I enjoyed it. Benny Safdie what a good guy. And he's a hot director. I mean, this is like a young Spielberg kind of guy.
Really? Well,
he's good. He's the next generation of big star directors.
Let's put it this way. Mazel tov, congratulations. And I have a feeling something else is going to come your way. So, Kenny, good for you. Bless you, brother. I appreciate you. Missed you doing the show. I know you've been traveling, doing big things. Yeah. Good luck in the Breeders' Cup. I was going to ask you to come on a couple minutes next week, but I know you got tons of meetings and stuff like that.
If you need me, I can come on Thursday.
Okay.
If you need me, I can give you for you. Yes.
Let's put it this way.
I'll give you the time.
I would be curious of your Breeders' Cup take. I'd love to have you. But if you get busy, we'll pick a time that if you have to bail out, because I figure 50-50, you know me, we do the same, you're just big time. I'm just this little guy in Lexington. Same thing.
I'm a movie guy now, Alan. Movie's my thing now. I'm not much into sports deal.
Hey, movie star, I always wanted to do this. Hey, movie star, get off my phone. Hey, bless you, brother.
Love you, Judy.
Kenny, you're the best.
You're the best. Man. Thanks, Alan.
Hey, Jimmy, how about he's a movie star? I forgot. I was going to ask him straight off top, and I forgot. He's off now. I'll say it. I'm really proud of him. I'm really, really proud of him. I think it's great.
To be on the credits, too, doesn't matter in order of appearance. To be right under The Rock.
How cool is
that? I mean, just to have that picture once you save the crowd. I mean, that is unbelievable.
Okay, so the people he was working with, when they're that happy, and I believe the sincerity of that, don't doubt that for a second, something else is going to come his way.
Yeah.
It just will. Would it surprise me that the next time in a movie he gets like a little roll around the track on the camera or something like that? No, and Kenny could do it. Kenny could do it easily. Come on. All the stuff you have to do. People don't. It's tough to realize that you get so much training in local TV. You really do. That doing this other stuff, I don't think would be as difficult as it seems. Anyway, Kenny, thank you so much. And Kenny, let me tell you something. I don't know if you need an electrician at your house, but if you do, listen to me. Elliott Services is the place to go. They've been great for me. I can give you firsthand experience. 859-255-5788. 100% employee owned. I love that. Residential heating and air services, including installation, maintenance, repairs, replacements. Home generator services, including sales, installation, maintenance, repairs, and replacement. Home electrical handyman services, which what I needed. And they took care of it in a great job. Outlet repairs, lighting upgrades, repairs, surface panel replacements, circuit troubleshooting, EV charger installation and maintenance. That's how they really took care of me. Heating and air preventative maintenance. You name it, they do it. And their electricians are checked out, non-commissioned. They do an amazing job. And Chuck Ely, my buddy, says, you have no idea how much I vet the people that we hire. I believe him because that's Chuck. And Chuck is the one who's taking care of me. And thank you, Chuck. Use these folks. 859-255-5788. HVAC, other stuff. Check them out. 859-255-5788. Elliott Services. Christian all coming up at 1:15. Thank you so much, Kenny Rice. Appreciate you, brother. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Great selection of snacks is holding steady while the drive-thru service is rounding out the pack. They're rounding the turn, and it's Clark's Pump and Shop for the win!
Get in the winner's circle with Clark's Pump and Shop. Stop by and pick up Sour Patch or Swedish Fish peg bags, 2 for $6, or Jack Link's Jerky, 3 1/4 ounce bags, 2 for $11. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrell family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank, time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
W223CV Lexington. ESPN Sports Radio 1300 and 92.5. WLXG Lexington, an LM Communications broadcasting station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
As Jimmy brings in Chris Chenault, Studley, the linebacker for Kentucky, don't forget about your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown scored to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. Hey, how about this? 6.5 points, 9.5 points. Tennessee favored by 9.5 over Kentucky. And the Bengals Jets, it was 6.5. It went to 6. It's now back to 6.5 points. And I don't know how the Jets are going to stop Flacco. We shall see. Jets probably won't go winless, but interesting odds. I do not give betting advice. New customers, this is for you. Bet $5 and get 200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus score over 200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code LEXSports. That code LEXSports to get 200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus over 200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus. Kentucky only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbooks.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer. And I know this about Chris Chenault. He doesn't have a limited opinion. Chris Chenault, what I want.
How you doing, man? If I was still a state trooper, I'd give you a speed ticket for talking that fast. You was on the road. You ever thought about rapping?
I might be a little too old for rapping.
Hey, you're never too old. It's only in why people perceive you. Social norms.
Well,
Peter Pan complex. Young at heart.
I am young at heart. I really think I am young at heart, just old in body.
Yeah, that's true. I tried to chase my grandson around the corner. Yeah, it ain't working no
You
more.
couldn't catch your grandson?
No, don't. Yeah, I hope. No, he's not listening. He's in school. He got hurt in football yesterday. Hurt his spine, and I gave him an aspirin. His mom wanted to take him to the hospital. I said, no, don't do that to that kid. He just got his bell rung. Knocked the air out of him.
You okay?
Yeah, he all right. He deserves it.
Yeah, some of the stuff that goes on in hospitals scares me about overreaction. I don't want to go there yet.
No, we're not going there. No,
hospitals can also save your life. So there's both sides to that coin, and both sides are there. In my humble opinion, let's get off before I get in trouble. And say something I shouldn't say. You almost got me. You almost got me. Look at that smirk if you're watching. Chenault with a smirk. You're reversing no filter on me. It's very smart, Chris.
Oh, yeah. Reverse psychology.
Number two, all-time leading tackler in the history of Kentucky and UK Athletics Hall of Fame. Opinions change. And you're kind enough to join us every week during the season. You've promised me you're going to watch Kentucky basketball. You will watch Kentucky Purdue, and I'll be curious of your opinion next week. But for right now, would you bring back, and you could change your mind 2 weeks from now, because changing your mind is fine. Supposed to be Tennessee, supposed to be Florida, supposed to be Auburn, supposed to be Tennessee Tech. You go to a ball game, everything changes, and you can say, yeah, these big mouths didn't believe me. I got no problem with any of that. Anyway, today, if you were making a decision, would you pay $38 million and move on?
No, it's too much. I give him next year. I liked how we played against Texas. Oh yes, I like that, and I like his far. I watched him on the sideline. The guys haven't gave up. I think the best player on that field was our quarterback, and the other guy, he's there. Nepotism. That guy I like Manning, the brothers, but this kid is average. I thought our quarterback was better.
Much better. Look,
I,
Cutter was much better.
I thought we dominated the game on the defensive side. We didn't take enough risk. And I hate going back to that Tennessee game when I played. I had flashbacks. Please don't run it up in the middle no more. Please don't work. I said naked bootleg, play action, reverse naked bootleg. He would have walked in. Walked in.
So I got two things for you. All week, I'm harping on this because to me, in my world, a little thing is a big thing, which often tells you a trend of what's going on. I've always been that way. And when you have 14 seconds left on the clock, not 3, not 5, not 7, 10, I could understand either way. 14, and you don't trust a kid who's now completing over 70% of his passes in this game, did have a pick. He said it was his fault, said he slipped. It happens, and was trying to throw it out of bounds. So if it didn't slip, he'd had no picks. You don't trust him to get rid of the ball in 3 seconds. And let's put it this way. The field goal went from 14 to 9. That was 5 seconds. Probability is Cutter's pass wouldn't be as high as a field goal. The point is, you have 14 seconds. And Stoops said it, and I keep on saying this, when he walked into the media room, that I couldn't face you all if something happened, we couldn't get the kickoff. That is negative coaching. That is not giving your kids the best chance to win. If you were a player and you saw 14 seconds, how ticked off would you be that you didn't allow the quarterback to attempt, long shot, these things have happened before, to try to win the game. And if not, then kick the damn field goal. That drove me nuts. It tells me a lot about Mark Stoops. Lane Kiffin, 1,000,000-1, goes for it with 14 seconds to go because they practice it all the time. So you practice enough, it becomes comfortable, it becomes normal. Sure, you got the pressure of the game, but it's normal. That bothered me more than anything. Christian Alt, I guess if it doesn't bother you, I'll look silly to you, but your thought.
Well, my thing is, I remember when we beat Ole Miss the year before, and Lane Kiffin said he went out of his character. Well, Stoops stayed in his character by not going for it. I think the quarterback, you got to give him that shot and give him the confidence. And plus, what do you have got to lose? To me, it seems like he was watching the reactions of the crowd and what might happen tomorrow if he didn't do what he's supposed to. I still don't get the not going for the 3 points at the end of the game. I mean, you can stop him on defense, just prolong it a little bit. You didn't go over that fourth down. That what really broke my heart. And as I was screaming at the field along with everybody else in section 16, we couldn't understand half the stuff he was doing. The mumbling, you had far Stoops chants all the way through it, but I really liked the way he got the way the team prepared to play Texas. We should have won that game.
The team has not quit on him, and that's a compliment to Stoops. It's a compliment to the players, and you have to give them that because they checked out for the Louisville game last year. There's no quit in these kids. I actually give Cutler a lot of credit for that. It doesn't matter who you give credit to. It's a lot of people give credit for, but you got to give Stoops credit for that. Fair is fair. His kid not quit. Now, had they lost 49-7, and it was obvious that they had quit, that might force Mitch Barnhart and other people in administration's hand. But no, these kids didn't quit, and I applaud them, and I don't expect them to quit against Tennessee.
I don't neither. I think Stoops knows what he's got and the situations he's got. If he leaves here, it's basically he's not going to get this type of payday again. So he's got to fix it while he's here. I think once his contract gets low enough to where they can make a move, they will. But he has to prove to them once that time comes that he's worth sticking with, which I still don't think they will. He could probably go 10-2 next year, and they might be hesitant on keeping him.
No, if he goes 10-2 next year, he's here. They're not going to buy him out. They'll just say he fixed it, and you just move on.
Keep moving on?
Yeah. So here's the thing that people are suggesting, and I think it's dumber than a box of rocks. You've seen this watching sports for your whole life. Guy's job is on the line. Administration will often say, believe it or not, sometimes the coach wants to do it, but administration will often say, you got to get rid of 5 guys. And that happens a lot. Where, an AD says you got to get rid of people. I'm just saying this. If he stays, you can't get rid of 5 people. And I'll tell you why. And I keep on saying this, and I don't know how everybody doesn't get it. If you're a really good, even a young coordinator on the way up and you catch the right guy, there's a 28-year-old who might be great at Kentucky if you know who he is. I don't know who the hell he is. But there's somebody 28 out there who could be really good next step here. Not suggesting that. The point is, you can't hire assistant coaches for 1 year in most of your staff. They're not going to come. Nobody's going to come. And if you see that Stoops barely kept his job, if it turns out to be that, who the hell's going to come here? Nobody. So you can't just change your staff. And the other thing, too, is you can guarantee these guys 3-year contracts, but you got two issues. One, these guys have families. Two, if you end up changing a coach the following year, one, you might have to buy them out, which means if you bought a house, they're going to have to move again with young kids. That's not necessarily good. Two, if you change your coach and now you're forcing assistant coaches on a new coach, that ain't really good. The point is these assistant coaches are smart. Unless somebody's making $200,000 and now you're offering them $1.3 million and you guarantee them 3 years, do you put up with that? I bet a lot of people would. The point is, it hampers you tremendously if somebody goes to Stoops and says, I need to change 5 guys. He might not want to change anyone. I'm telling you, you can't. So you're hamstrung tremendously.
I think those coaches are pretty much they're like brothers when they go. You pick your staff on people who have your same philosophy and you get along with. As far as the players, you spend most of your time with your position coaches or your assistant or your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. The head coach, most of the time, he's almost like a godfather. You see him for the speeches at the game time and when you get in trouble. And you always see when you look in the sky. For us, it was Coach Claiborne sitting up there. We used to come with Overwatchers watching. But I think you can't fire 5 assistants. They have more to do with the attitude of the team sometimes than the coach, the head coach.
And some of the assistants that are well liked, that will cause players, more of them, to go into the portal.
Yeah,
and now
the portal
you
be
have more
fat. Yeah,
changing of what's going on. So my point is, you're painting yourself in the corner, and the wet paint is there, and you're trying to get out of the room. That's what happens. Because I'm hearing people suggesting, I'm going, that's just dumber than a box of rocks. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The other thing, and I've been saying this, I know nothing. I have no idea if they're going to make a change, but I've said this before. To me, I'll be surprised if Auburn makes a change and John Summerall doesn't become the coach. And I've been saying this for over a week.
right.
Kid's from Alabama. He's a man. One of his daughters just turned 7 the other day. I apologize, John. Who described him as a leader of men? Coached at Troy. There's more pressure on Auburn. So what? I don't think that'll bother him. And guess what? They have more money because they're sick and tired of being the little brother to Alabama. I don't know if they can catch up to them, but there's money people in Auburn that I believe will spend more money on the football program than they do here at Kentucky. Plus, in the state of Alabama, and I know you know this, this is no disrespect to the state of Kentucky, but everybody knows the talent in Alabama is much better number-wise to play in the Southeastern Conference. And within a circumference of about 250 miles, there's more talent. So much more talent. Now, there's a lot of talent in Ohio, but when it comes to talent in the South, Southern people, Southern athletes, Auburn can be a much better job. It's a nuttier place. People lose their jobs quickly. There's no question about it. But if I'm John Summerall, if I know everything and you look at a piece of paper, it's a better job than Kentucky. So even though he played here and loves this place, and I believe he does, why the hell would he come here if he can get the Auburn job? If he can get the Auburn job.
Well, it all comes down to recruiting. Like he's down in Alabama. Yes, they have the population to turn out all these athletes and stuff like Florida. But the main thing with NIL, you get a good prospect. You got bid the other guy, he might come your way. So you do have a puncher's chance. But I just want to make one thing. The Texas UK game, did you see the crowd? Was that not look like a Florida game? It was so many burnt orange in that stadium. I would say it was 50-50 almost. But there were better fans than I think Tennessee will be. But I got along with most of them. And that program, they say, is on the verge of teeter-tot. They don't know if this coach is the guy or not, but they like him. And Manning, like they said, they don't think he's, like his uncles are, but they think he's decent. But I was disappointed in the crowd for
Kentucky's crowd.
Yeah, I thought we should have more. Most of the time when you go to a home game, you get that one section, and you can see it is square, whatever shape.
Well, let me throw this at you. Had Tennessee won last weekend, which they didn't. I really believe. Tennessee always brings a lot of fans. Everybody knows that, but I don't think I've ever seen it where Tennessee had more fans at a game than Kentucky. One, they want to come because it's close. Two, they want to come because they expect to win. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. But had they won last week, I honestly believe, without proving, because you can't prove it because it didn't happen, that there'd be more Tennessee fans in the stands than Kentucky fans.
That's what I'm waiting to see this week. I just want to see where we stand at as far as supporting the players and stuff. I know we're struggling, but that team is not bad. Their breaks and Cutler is going to get so much better towards the end, and next year he's going to be on fire. I hope they keep him and no one else tries to poach him from us. But we got to get those wide receivers in here.
Trust me with two things. One, I guarantee you they're going to go after Cutler to poach him. Using the word poach, I'll use it. Two, I guarantee you that he will be offered much more money to leave than stay. Three, I don't know this. I would assume that Kentucky would pay more. Four, and I think this is important, with him going 31-39, which is almost seems sacrilegious for Stoops. And what a change in the offense in a short time period that we haven't talked about enough. With him going 31-39, let's say that trend continues. In other words, I'm not saying he's going to throw 50 passes. That would be like sacrilegious. Stoops quarterback throwing 50 passes. But the point is this. If he's consistently throwing 35 or more passes for the rest of the season, you know what I think they can do? They can actually, honestly, and I expect that they will recruit better wide receivers, because the problem is that why would you come here if you're not from the state of Kentucky, if you're a four-star receiver, because this has no reputation about passing the ball. These kids who are in the transfer portal aren't stupid. They're not. They want to go someplace where you can catch the ball. And if you now all of a sudden you're throwing 35 passes a game, 38 passes a game, I think that becomes attractive in the NIL era to some pretty damn good wide receivers, which would really help turn this thing around much quicker than you think. But the kids that they brought in here, they seem to be nice kids. I don't deal with them, but I've heard good things about them. But they're a bunch of second-tier guys. I'm not being disrespectful. I promise you I'm not being disrespectful. But the point is, they got lucky with Law, but I think Law also saw that somebody's going to be ahead of him at Alabama, and he's done a nice job. I would actually throw him the ball more on short passes and stuff because he's got some speed and he's got that one move that he can do. But the point is this. I think they can bring in quickly much better wide receivers, and maybe the two or three freshmen will step up even more, that all of a sudden the wide receivers can be actually pretty darn good. And if that happens, then you can change things offensively.
Well, with the running backs we got, they're like scat backs. If we had a George Adams back there, we would have got that touchdown. And if Cutler's going to continue to do what Cutler would continue to do what he's doing, and I think he will, because I watched him do some interviews. He had his head down. He basically said, "I guess I got to do more, run more." He's a leader. When I said he's got it, he's got it. Get the guy his receivers. They'll be fine. Change the offense. What do you got to lose? I mean, get your wide receivers out there that can separate in the SEC. I'm not talking about these other smaller schools. I want wide receivers that can separate when we're playing the Alabamas, the Texas, and stuff like that. And you can see the difference in size. But I thought we was quicker. I thought we played harder. And I thought Texas thought they was going to come in and just roll over us. But those kids fought. Now, if you saw that, and I'm watching it at home on TV, and I saw the crowd, even though it was 50-50, that stadium was rocking. And I was so sore the next day. It took me 3 days to recover.
What were you sore from?
Huh?
What were you sore from?
I had to send you the video. I was jumping up and down. It was these young college kids that took the shirt off. You know how they sway like that? For some reason, I got in the middle. I was ready to stop at the 2 or 3 sways, but man, we did a whole song trying to get the cameraman to show on section 16, but he never would.
Did you take your shirt off at the game?
No. I think I had this thing on. I probably went right back there. That's about it. But I had a ball, and that's the most fun I've had in a game in so long. And for it to end like that, if you would call me on Tuesday, I would tell him, get his butt out of here. But now that I analyzed the game and went back over it, I saw some other people's comments. This team is good enough next year to turn it around. We just got to stay focused and stay together. God, we got to stay together, because I feel more optimistic about this team not going into the rest of the season and next year. And I hope everybody stays intact because I do believe in second chances. And sometimes when you let a fire under somebody's butt, you get some action. And I think somebody's got a bonfire under Stoops' butt. We're going to see what happens.
Well, let's put it this way. If Cutter Boley turns into one of the better quarterbacks in America, the obvious statement, it's been true of Kentucky football. It's not just Kentucky football. Tim Couch, with all the people around him, changed Kentucky football. Babe Parilli, with all the people around him, changed Kentucky football. Andre Woodson's last 2 years with a bunch of really good kids around him, but the way he could chunk the football now.
Ultimate game manager. Ultimate.
Yeah, but he could chunk it now.
Yeah, I know
he could
that
flat
too.
out chunk the ball. And if you have someone who can chunk the ball like Cutter, that could change everything around here. And there could be some I told you so's. And taking up what we're saying, I think people know Rich Brooks was this close to, and many people think, to getting canned when they lost 48-0 to LSU. He was really dark around here. And to his credit and the players' credit, they stuck together and they turned it around. Maybe it's possible that Stoops could do the same thing because I think they have the right quarterback. You think they have the right quarterback. And there's no doubt in my mind you can recruit really good receivers to come here next year for two reasons. If you're really throwing the ball 35 times a game, guess what?
Oh, yeah.
If you're, let's say, a junior wide receiver at so-and-so and you've caught 40 balls last year and they now offer more money and you say, I was a backup at so-and-so, they throw the ball, but now I could start at Kentucky.
You'll be on TV every week. SEC has its own value to it. I don't care if you're at the bottom. Look what Vanderbilt's doing right now. That shocks me. I want to be that. I want to be Vanderbilt for us next year. We've been 10-2 and all that, but they've got some moxie going on.
Christian Alt, Mr. Positive. Last thought on Kentucky football. What do you got?
Against the Tennessee? 21-17 UK. Nothing such like a big orange. That's after Toby Cole of Kentucky State Police retired. He's a Tennessee fan born in Kentucky. I still don't understand it. You should have went to Tennessee.
Did you just say on my show, nothing sucks like a big orange?
Yeah, nothing sucks like a big orange.
You say that with passion.
Nothing sucks like a big orange. Tennessee, Rocky Top my butt. Don't nobody live in the mountains no more. I love Tennessee. Rocky Top. They used to blast that thing during practice. Get you in the mood for it. Greg Nord used to do that. I wanted they still we used to show highlight films of the previous games, of course, where we win, but big hits, and that would get you going. And I should have some on it because at one time I think I had 28 tackles against Tennessee.
You had 28 tackles against Tennessee in one game?
Yeah, I was on kickoff, punts, and of course defense, and I never came out of the game. Yeah.
Wow.
I IV'd after that game, I think. Yeah, I was dead.
You probably needed an IV at halftime.
No kidding. But that doesn't say bode well for. I can't even remember the score. I know it was close, but I was just hyper. I loved it. Back then, they used to give you I can't go there. That's another story. I think it was caffeine pills, and they said, "Here, take this. You'll be fine." Okay, Supac. That's what they gave players back in. It was caffeine. Still drinking energy drink. You took 2 Supac before practice.
That's not illegal.
Well, I took 6. Couldn't put my contacts back in. I was so daggone hyper. I guess it's like that smelling salts. And the worst thing you can do is get bored during a football game. That one guy that's reading a book on the sideline, if I was a teammate on his team, I would have been all over the news because I'd beat the hell out of him. You ain't read. No, that's disrespecting the football gods. That's just not right.
You took 6.
Yes. Supac. It's 99.9% caffeine.
Did you sleep for 2 days?
I still don't sleep. I probably from my college days. I get about 4 hours of sleep every night and happy because I can think and, like you said, meditate. I really like alone time. Outside, I'm what you call whatever, but at home, I'm an introvert. You can ask my wife because she's chatty patty. Once I listen to her, I'm a great listener. Then I'm gone. I'm gone.
Bless you. Okay, next week, if you're kind enough to join us, we'll talk a little football, and I'm going to ask you about Kentucky-Purdue basketball, and we'll see if you really watched.
already started doing my background on that. I know they replaced his 7-footer. Edney was there last year, but they got another guy in there. But I don't think he's as good as ours. I saw the matchups. I think we're gonna win that game. I know it's an exposition game.
Exhibition game.
Yeah. Now, do they really play those hard, or are we just gonna?
Yeah, they're going to play hard. Both teams will play hard. Yeah,
Okay,
they're going to
so-
play it like seriously like a real game. The substitution pattern might be a little different because you might want to see somebody play a little bit more backup point, with Lowe being out and that kind of thing. But as far as playing hard, they'll play hard. By the way, Edney was 2 years ago, and he's
2 years.
pros. But your point is they have a nice center. Matt Painter is a great coach, and I really like their philosophy. And I'd like Pope to do this. They purposely want to go to a great program on the road to get a feel of a hostile environment. I think that's really, really, really smart. And I'd like to see Pope do that next year. Take a hostile environment where the place is going to be packed so the kids get used to that thing. Mr. Coffee Pills, God bless you, brother.
Hey.
Appreciate you. And you want to tell me what you text me after the game Saturday night? You weren't a very happy guy. We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. Like I said, America, be nice.
You know what? We need to put that in the open. Like I said, America, be nice. We need to put that in the open. I'm going to have Jimmy stick that in the open. Hey, Chris, bless you. I appreciate you tremendously. And you're starting to get over your shyness. I can feel it.
I think so, because I found out a long time closed mouths don't get fed.
No wonder why I'm fat.
Take it easy, man.
See you, brother. Thank you,
All
Chris.
right.
Appreciate
All right.
you. Christian Alt, to me, he's special. He's special. I'm going to send you the time code for that in the clip. We got 2 Christian Alts for today. How about that? 2 Christian Alts. That's really good. Isn't it interesting how he's changed his tune towards Stoops in the program?
Yeah, but I feel like that's normal to have your ability. You're not just hard line stance no matter what. It's the eye test. You got to watch the games as they happen, and you can change. You don't have to be the fan who just always hates the coach,
They beat Tennessee, and I'll be different on Monday.
Sure.
I think that's smart. You beat Tennessee, you can beat Auburn.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you can beat Tennessee Tech. Then you need one win to get to a bowl game. Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be crazy? That would be crazy. And Mark Stoops could say, I keep on telling you, we're getting better week after week. I keep on telling you. And guess what? He would be correct. And it'd be correct for you to contact Elliott Services if you need some electrician work. They have been great with us. 859-255-5788. They do tons of stuff, including what we needed, EV charger installation and maintenance. And our electrical system was awful. As a matter of fact, before Chuck Ely, my friend, brought his people over, we had tried out a hybrid and literally plugged it in, and the wall got black. And I was scared we could have had a fire. Well, Chuck Ely and his guys come over, and they totally revamped our system. Totally. So now we have the hybrid that my wife loves, the Volvo, the XC60 that I talked about, and they have taken care of us, and it's a beautiful thing, and I trust them. They do great work. Elliott Services, 100% employee-owned with licensed background checks and non-commission-based technicians. The success of their job is success in the company. Residential heating and air conditioning services, installation, maintenance, repair, replacements, home generator services, whatever you can think of, the sales, installation, maintenance, repairs, HVAC systems. You need a handyman electrical. They do it. They do everything. Heating and air, voice data and Wi-Fi solutions, whatever it is, they do it. Elliott Services, 859-255-5788. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrill Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrill family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
I'm Kathy Binkaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together, and the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Boo! Brett, what are you doing? I'm getting ready for Halloween. Well, it looks like your costume's ready, but what about your candy?
Well, you know, Dad and Uncle Rick, at Clark's Pep and Shop, we have some spooky deals. All month long, you can pick up 5-hour energy shots, 2 for $4.99, or Rolade sticks, buy one, get one free.
No tricks, all treats this October. Clark's Pep and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Thank you, Christian Alt. Thank you, Kenny Rice. Jimmy, when I first saw Bill Self, before I heard him say words, I freaked out. I don't know what he's done, Ozempic, not Ozempic. You know, it's not fair to think everybody's going to lose weight by taking those drugs. I don't ever remember seeing him that skinny, maybe in college or something like that. Didn't he look like a different human being? It was like, wow.
He did. Like, if I just watched the video and didn't, like, it, you would see who it was eventually, but it would have taken a good 10 seconds. Is that? Oh, it is a Kansas show. Oh, is that Bill Self? Yeah, you're right. It doesn't look like him.
I don't mean to sound odd or corny, but I was actually staring at him for about 10 seconds and then kind of listening to the words. I mean, what a change. And to be honest, jealous. Barkley's lost a ton of weight too. I bet he's lost 60, 80 pounds. He probably could still lose some more, but what am I saying? He's lost a ton of weight and his face is thin. It's just thin. Self's face is thin. So here's the thing. And Jimmy, I'm curious if you think this after this is played. He should have known more about this. So a couple weeks ago, I can't think of the kid's name. I talked about it at the time. Somebody from the G League went to play at Santa Clara. My friend Herb Sendick, who's smart enough to know the rules and take advantage of the rules, and I couldn't believe it. Just couldn't believe it. And then a couple days ago, Louisville just picked up a kid from the G League. And so, you know, you got the pros from Europe, like Yelovich playing for Kentucky. Why not somebody from the NBA? When you listen to this soundbite and it's long from Self, one, he didn't know the rule. And I got to tell you, I'm sorry, Bill, that's kind of arrogant that I know you're Kansas and you're one of the greatest programs of all time. The guy's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest coaches. There's no question about it. But when something happens, if he doesn't know it, somebody should tell him about it. And the fact that he didn't know what was going on, I think it's an egregious mistake on his part. That's your profession. That's kind of like, I'm so good I don't need to know everything. I don't mean to be nasty on Self, really, but I thought it was incompetent he didn't know. Seriously, you're supposed to know the rules, especially since this has been going on now for a few weeks. Anyway, he's talking about, and all these coaches are talking about, you know, getting guys out of the G League to come play college basketball.
Don't want to knock it from a standpoint that who knows, we may be recruiting one before it's all said and done. But I got to know the rule better because I didn't know it was just limited to G League. I thought a guy could get cut in the NBA and be eligible for college. My personal opinion is I have no idea what we're doing. What are we doing? So we're going to go recruit. We're going to call NBA teams and G League teams to find out who will potentially be available, and that's who we're going to recruit now, as opposed to high school kids or even portal kids. And what is the actual rule? Does it have to fit within a 5-year window? Can he go to college first? I don't really understand it well enough to comment too much, other than why wouldn't everybody declare for the draft? If it doesn't work out, go back to college. Why? I mean, if it is the way that I think it is, which it may not be because I don't understand it well enough yet, it's going to open up some unintended consequences that we're going to have to deal with for sure.
You know, I got to think he should have said, I don't know enough to comment on it, which is still a bad thing because you got to comment on it. But he's so comfortable in his own skin. And I hear he's great with the media, by the way. So, I don't know, Jimmy, am I wrong? He should have known what the rule is by now. It's one thing if it just passed and you sneak it through and that kind of thing. Well, once you become abreast of it, you should know. He should have known about this at a minimum a couple weeks ago. No? Is that fair criticism?
Yeah. Do you think it's because the season is so close to starting, he's locked in on this year,
No.
or maybe he's not as involved with the intricacies within the recruiting, where he has people come to him and say, okay, here's who we've got for recruits that we know you will like. Here's the names. To where he's not in the nitty gritty of the recruiting. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, let's say you're right about the not being nitty gritty unless he's got to call a kid and those kinds of things and people are coming to him. And I let's say you're 100% right. Then somebody should have come to him and said, what about this? And if you're aware of your profession, you should know this without somebody coming to you. And once you hear about it, I could see you going to one of your assistants or something. Come back to me with more information about this. It's incompetent. I'm sorry. People make mistakes. I mean, they just do. It's wrong. It's bad. I don't like it. To me, it's not doing your job. Now, he might win the national championship this year. Okay. And in this case, he failed. Tell you, he doesn't fail me. Terry Page, 373-0578, 373-0578. A great massage therapist, a healer. Check her out. 859-373-0578. She's done absolute wonders for me. I'm lucky. I'm just really lucky how much she's helped me. So it's a beautiful thing. The Pope thing, I think the big thing, and if you missed the start of the show, Jimmy puts the show up at 2 by 2:30, I like to say, because anywhere you get your podcasts, especially at the ESPN Sports Lexington app, sometimes there's nothing to do with us. Jimmy sends it to all these places, and sometimes it takes a little bit before it ends up being put up. So it could take a couple of minutes. The point is this. The big thing that came out of Pope's press conference is more about how there's no question that the shoulder of Lowe is not that bad. He's not in pain. And he drew an analysis of the pain level that Butler was feeling, and his kid doesn't have any pain. He's already shooting. That to me was huge. He's already shooting. And so he says, hey, we're going to hold him out for a week. Okay. What I don't know is, and nobody asked, and this is not being negative, and I wonder if he would have played tonight if it's a real game. But if he's saying we're holding him out for a week, I think that's powerful. I would think that, guess what? It's not something that you should be seriously concerned about unless there's a setback. I think it's terrific. I think it's really terrific. And, you know, and he has said this before with all these coaches, and there's so many sound bites out there, and a couple I've kind of put in the hopper. I might send one or two to Jimmy tomorrow, whether it's Izzo, Sampson, so many of these older coaches who are being asked about, you know, what is going on with the NIL, saying it's ruined college basketball. But I think Sampson is the one that said it best. He goes, it's not the kids, it's the adults. I really like that. He said the adults are ruining the game because the adults are the one that changed the rules. And Jimmy, I got to tell you, I haven't heard anybody else put it that way. It's the adults, the adults, the adults. Gosh darn it, he's right. And I got to tell you, when he said it, I've never communicated it that way. It is the adults. And I don't blame these kids for taking advantage of it. You shouldn't allow a kid to transfer 4 years in a row. You shouldn't. It shouldn't be a rule. I'm not going to blame a kid for taking advantage of it, make more money, whatever, maybe not see how the value of education is. Okay, I get it. Most of these kids are going to play in the NBA. Education is not as big as we all know to a lot of these kids. To a lot of these kids, education is very important. It's all what you want. But it's the adults. The adults are screwing this thing up. When I think it was Sampson, when I heard him say that, I went, duh, why didn't I put it that way? I mean, seriously. And so what happens? The criticism is to the players. No, the players are taking advantage of what? The system. It's the system. And that's what's going on. It really is. I don't know how else to explain it. I got to tell you, I don't remember the year. I should look it up when the Russians came to play the exhibition. This is as excited as I've been to see a preseason exhibition game since then. I don't remember the year, Jimmy. Doesn't have to look it up. It was a long time ago. I am that excited. Purdue is for real. There's no hype when Pope calls Matt Painter one of the best coaches in the country. It's remarkable what he has done. It's remarkable how he doesn't get 5 stars. It's remarkable how he recruits for effort and kids that won. He's got a system of formula that works. He doesn't lose kids like a lot of other schools do. They stay with him, not 100%. He likes to keep his kids and develop that way. I think he's got a couple kids from the transfer portal this year. He's not going to be a transfer portal guy. Purdue is lucky to have him. You know, I wonder if Purdue will fall tremendously after he retires. They have to have the right coach because Purdue in football isn't that good. It's not a destination spot. Matt Painter has made it sort of a destination spot, but he's done it with like 3 stars, not with 4 stars and not with 5 stars. That's just what he's done. And I can tell you, check out Blue Lotus Health. My friend Ramon, 859-373-0914. 859-533-0914. I'm sorry, I do this every day. You think I would know it off the top of my head. Blue Lotus Health, acupuncture. Now also providing a licensed massage therapist. Ramon has been great for me on Versailles Road. He's a special man. He's really smart, and he's done wonders for me. Jeff Drummond just sent me the picture of the Soviet Union when they played against in 77, 82, 87, 91. Wow. Thank you, Jeff. And I always look forward to those games because, come on, the Soviet Union guys were professionals. There's no question about it. And Kentucky won 3 of the 5. That's pretty good. I am late. Thank you, Jeff Drummond. 2 things you text today were additions to the show. Jeff, we got to get you back on the show with your crazy schedule and my crazy schedule. Brad Taylor coming up next. Matthew with Jimmy at 10. I'm Alan Cutler. See you tomorrow at noon. Thank you, Christian Alt. Thank you, Candy Rice. Really good stuff, and I hope